Kryptonite Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is
Chris C.
And
Rob Morphy.
Thank y'all so very much for joining us. We have a Patreon campaign.
We do.
It is patreon.com/Kryptonite Podcast. We would like to thank all of our patrons who support us over there. And at the end of this episode, we're going to be doing some Patreon shout-outs.
Absolutely.
That's right. We promised you that.
Yeah, so if you contribute to that, stick around for the end of the show. You can hear that. Also, too, I want to send a huge thank you to all of our listeners, Patreon supporters or not. The podcast has grown so much over the last couple of months. It's really impressive. We're super excited. We're so very thankful that everyone is into this. And thank you all so very much.
Yeah.
Really.
Here we go.
Here
Yeah,
it is.
there
It's for
it is.
them.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, dear
Thank
listeners.
You. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Honestly, you guys are the
Thanks
fucking
to
best.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Dear
Definitely.
listeners.
And on a personal note, I'm going to give a little shout out to superfan Lisa Hoff because among all the great things, she's a dear friend of all of ours.
Yes.
She introduced me to the wonders of peanut butter whiskey recently,
whiskey?
it seems like it's a non-starter. I would be like, in theory, oh fuck that, but it's sort of like drinking liquefied Nutter Butters in a quality solid bourbon. And I ended up killing half the bottle while we were hanging out, watching some TV, doing the things that we do, just, fucking watching shit. And it was awesome. So I want to give Lisa a big fat shout out. Thank you. And I also promised her I would. And I'm a man of my word.
All right. Well,
Lisa, you're the best.
let's hear it for peanut butter whiskey, right? Peanut butter whiskey. Woo!
Dude, I would try pretty much any whiskey.
Oh, sure.
I don't care.
I would try it.
I tried all the honey and the cinnamon varieties.
Yeah.
I'll try anything
there.
that comes down the pike. I'm a traditionalist in a lot of ways. I like my Irish whiskeys. I like my bourbons. But fuck it. It's whiskey. I'll try it.
It's peanut butter.
I love whiskey. And I do enjoy peanut butter. And I absolutely love Nutter Butters.
You love Nutter
Of
Butters,
all the
too.
knockoff Oreo type things, the cream-filled cookies, they got to be near the peak.
Yeah.
All
right, well, fucking shout outs to Lisa. There
Absolutely.
it is. Yeah, thank you. All
Thank
right.
you, Miss Hoff.
All right, so this week, the last couple of stories here, I believe the last pod that we put out was the Curse of the Golden Eagle. Well, we're gonna keep with some paranormal.
Yeah, we are.
We talk a lot about aliens. We talk a lot about other, cryptids and stuff like that. But I think that we're gonna do a little paranormal romp here. So stick with us. Enjoy the ride. You know what? Send us your paranormal thoughts and experiences because I want to hear about it.
And if they're cool enough, you better fucking believe there's a podcast in there.
And we have based podcast off of listener submissions.
Absolutely.
The Vengeful Brujo of, was it Rubio, right?
Bruja.
Or the Vengeful Bruja.
But
yeah.
yes, I think it was Rubio.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating, frightening story.
That was with Juan and his felonious dick.
Felonious dick. Yeah, of course. How will I ever forget?
The Latch. Juan the Latch.
All right, so continuing on with our paranormal truck here this week, we were talking about the Stone Killers.
Flat out dead up.
Just after the turn of the 20th century, a blissful couple purchased a picturesque cottage in North England's desolate Peak District, utterly unaware of the fact that the property came with a curse that the original owners would return on All Saints' Day. Original owners who were not only replete with evil, but also evidently capable of transmuting their vile spirits into the very stone effigies meant to entomb their cursed corpses.
The very same.
You had me at entombed their cursed corpses.
You're welcome.
I did not get a chance to read this.
No.
I did not.
Really?
You sent it early.
I did.
I had a very busy day with the children.
That's all right.
And I had to print it in a rush. And I would like to thank you for numbering the pages because I don't think that I put them together properly.
Oh.
So that could be an issue for editing.
That really could be.
It could be.
because I just had faith that you put them in the
Yeah,
proper
no, I
order.
saw numbering
yeah, no,
them.
don't. We may have just fucked ourselves. But that's okay because you know why? Chris is an amazing editor.
Yeah, no.
And he can
I'll
bring
do
this
it.
together for us.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to live with it. We're going to have to live with our sloppiness.
Yeah,
this
no,
one
I got
time.
it, guys. Don't worry.
Wow.
Thank you, Christopher. Robert, let's get started.
I got to say, before we get going, the idea of animate statues has always fucking
I
haunted
don't like
me.
it. Nobody likes it.
It's
Long
creepy.
before the Weeping Angels, as much as they are literally every bit as cool as Cybermen and Daleks,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. As far as Doctor Who villains go, at least the first episode they were in. I think
Blink.
they got a little, overplayed quickly, but the first episode was one of the most haunting things I think Who has ever done. And you guys remember just a brief sequence. It's not even like it came to life, but in Exorcist 3, directed by William Peter Blatty back in, I think, 93, where the church doors blew in and the autumnal leaves rattled down the aisle, and all of a sudden the crucified effigy of Jesus, his eyes popped open. Something about that just struck an icky chord.
No, it
as
sucks.
A Catholic school
God.
kid, and Chris knows what I'm talking about. I used to stare at the weeping, bloody, obviously
It's
tortured
fucking
form
awful,
of
I know.
Jesus, and I thought,
don't forget ripped.
if he looks at me, oh yeah, he's got abs.
He's got abs
for days.
dude to shred.
Absolutely. So hot yet clearly having suffered mighty indignities.
Yeah, no, I know.
The thought of it opening, it being the object, not the human being, opening its eyes, always kind of haunted me. So this takes it to the max. When I stumbled across this story in one of the old 1960s paperbacks of Paranormal that I collect all over the place, one of my favorite pastimes, I was like, 100%. So like Mark said, we're trying to just switch up the rhythm a little bit, go with a little paranormal, test the waters, and without any more ado, wedded life had very much suited Robert and Mary Sanford. By all accounts, the young couple delighted in one another's company and cherished the time they spent together in their London home. In fact, the only thing that apparently displeased them was all of the filth and tumult that personified big city life at the close of the Victorian era. Now, we're talking fucking Dickensian as shit. Like,
I got that.
It's all soot and regret and little
shit
fuckers.
is falling on your heads as you're walking through the
Everyone
streets.
throwing piss pots out the top window.
That's what I'm saying. What are you guys
Little
doing?
orphans always asking for another serving of something somewhere.
For some reason, whenever you say Dickensian, I just get like a little bit of like a little giggle, like a little Dickensian. I don't know why. I don't know.
Because
it's great.
Dickens is like just a word in our vernacular.
The Dickens is the ultimate enhancer now.
The Dickens
doesn't matter. It's hot as the Dickens.
Yeah.
Jesus was ripped as the Dickens.
Yeah, I'm Dickensian poor this week. That's literally what I told him. I'm not
a perfect actual use of the word Dickensian.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm Dickens poor.
Chris got
a
hold of me to claim that he was Dickens poor, and I was like, dude, we got Patreon money. Don't worry. Our good listeners, thank you all so very much to support us on Patreon.
Yes, thank
and
you.
Help Christopher live.
And
you've pulled me out of Dickens. Depths.
Now I'm going to be taking my Patreon share this month and buy myself a Mortal Kombat arcade 1-up system because I'm not Dickensian poor.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow, just showing off.
No, not showing off.
Just rubbing Chris's nose in it.
Yeah. Chris and you're going to come play with me.
Well, duh.
With the fucking Mortal Kombat arcade.
Okay, well, I guess I'll buy the Street Fighter then, and we'll just have a fucking fight off.
We will. It'll be awesome. Okay, we should probably finish the story.
I'm going to get food.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. We're just going to get Whoppers.
All right, so they're poor. They're in London. I like the word, was it tumult?
Tumult.
I like that.
Yes.
Never heard of it.
And tumult.
Never heard of it
That's
before.
a lot of hubbub. It's like frenzied action, but not of the comforting, chaotic kind that you might get, say, at a rock concert.
Okay.
The kind that makes you wish you were away from it.
Okay, cool.
And that is apparently how Robert and Mary Sanford felt.
They don't like that filth. They're moving out.
They don't want it.
All right.
To that end, the couple had been tirelessly searching for a more pastoral residence, preferably in central England's idyllic Peak District, which was resplendent not only with natural beauty, but embodied the laid-back atmosphere that they were evidently craving. As luck would have it, Robert stumbled on the cottage of their dream. It was a sturdy, if wee bit ramshackle bungalow that stood proudly by a pristine stream, made all the more aesthetically appealing by a thicket of yew trees. We all know about the yew trees. I don't.
It's a cousin of the oak?
Yes.
Cherry?
100%.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But it was specified, so we're just going to go with
It's
this.
a tree of
Lilac?
sheep.
The tree of
female
yew.
sheep.
I don't know, lilac?
The yew trees.
Yew trees.
Which edged
there we
the
go.
estate. Increasing its charm was the detail that the property was also isolated. In fact, the only other building in the vicinity was a centuries-old Norman church that was shrouded in the nearby forest. And a shrouded old Norman church is where it's at, as we all know.
I mean, it's a party.
Ooh. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Robert knew that with a little time and elbow grease, the old place could be transformed into the perfect country home. Mary agreed, and in the spring of 1901, the Sanfords left London for their new home. The remainder of the spring and the summer would be full of hard work, but also lots of love and many happy memories for the newlyweds.
Oh, it's kind of cute.
Love.
And you know it's going to end in a big
Hate.
pile of fucking shit.
Little could they have imagined
See, the
that
dark
their
side.
blissful existence would be destined to come crashing down around them, along with the first gentle fall of the autumn leaves.
Of
course.
As the leaves fall, the blood
So shall your life.
flows.
Blood flows.
Blood flows.
Everything's a metal lyric with you.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
I
duh.
love it. No, I love
and
it.
as Chris knows, because him and I have been in metal projects, I'm terrible at writing metal lyrics. Therefore, I have to convey my ideas to Chris. Then he turns them into something that actually makes fucking sense.
No.
And
At
that's
one-
what
at one
friends
point,
are for.
He was like, Mark, enough with the edgy new metal lyrics.
I was just gonna bring that up. He said it to me. I'm like, it's
a little edgy.
borderline edgy new metal.
Yeah,
He's like,
it's
yeah,
pretty bad.
maybe.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, I can't write shit. It's okay.
Well, I like the blood
No, it's not
fall.
bad. It was just a little.
Yeah, but you know what, Chris? You make everything better. Thank you, Robert. You also make everything better. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for including me. Everything's just better with friendship.
There you go.
God bless us, one and all.
And that is
Or is it everyone?
I
I already
don't know.
fucked up the
Whatever.
Dickens.
whatever.
God bless it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Tiny Rob, thank you.
I don't know. tiny Rob.
Not long after purchasing the cottage, the local villagers had informed the bemused couple that the property where their villa now stood had once been the location of a massive manor house that had been owned by a pair of barbaric brothers, both knights, who were renowned not for their acts of chivalry, but those of wretched cruelty.
Do you guys remember the Barbarian Brothers? Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my
They were
God.
in a bunch of
They were in a bunch
Yeah.
of shit. Yeah.
Some sword and sorcery films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just two like ripped dudes. They're twins and like with the Barbarian Brothers.
You
That's
know,
kind of what I imagine.
They always
with
sort
this.
of looked like, I don't know, like ultra ripped Jose Canseco's. to me.
Kind of.
They,
Yeah.
they did.
They did.
They did.
Yeah.
100%.
I wonder what happened to those bros.
They're probably dead.
You
from,
can only do so much.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can. Yeah,
it's true.
steroids, cocaine,
when you're
hookers.
beefy twins.
Yeah, when, you're
what
beef,
else?
when you're beef twins.
But the 80s were a perfect decade to be beef
That's
twins.
what I'm saying.
Like they
exactly.
lucked out becoming beefy at just the right
Right.
time in
But
history.
now this place here, we're talking about barbaric brothers who
Yes,
were
who
knights,
were knights.
who are not like, hey, we're doing cool shit. They're like,
But
we're
the
doing
evil
some
knights.
real evil shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
barbaric evil, not just like Conan.
Yeah, they're
barbaric,
not like that.
Not
worshiping
like
Crom,
just
eating
club
turkey legs,
Oh,
and banging.
Yeah, exactly. No, these guys are doing some real
proper
evil.
barbarian.
Right,
loving.
right.
Yes. That whole speech that his fucking dad gives in the beginning and that he gives.
Yeah.
We'll drive their enemies before us, make
Exact-
their women wail. I
That's
don't
what
even
I'm
remember.
saying. Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a Manowar song.
Okay.
It is definitely a man of war.
But
song,
getting
yeah.
back to the Sanfords,
All right.
the neighbors told him, listen, this used to be a big fat fucking estate with evil knights. So there's a second part to the warning. and we're
Okay,
gonna
so
get to
maybe you might want to take a pause, talk to your real estate agent, and be like, "Hey, this is not disclosing the property information."
it. I don't even think back then you had to.
Oh, really?
In the turn
Oh,
of the
you
20th
know, it's
century,
true. Yeah, you didn't have to. I didn't care.
no.
All right.
In fact, local legend had it that the duo was so brutal and lawless that when they finally met their inevitable and likely violent end, their relatives had to cajole the clergy through either means of bribery or force into giving the sadistic siblings a Christian burial.
Oh man, when they won't bury you because you're so evil.
That's saying
Wow,
something.
man.
When hallowed ground is too good
yeah,
for you.
they're like, "Fuck them."
After the clergy finally acquiesced, the brothers were laid to rest outside of the Norman church where their graves were marked by two marble statues, laid side by side on a broad slab of the same polished material, carved in their presumably grotesque likenesses. Though they could have been very handsome. I don't know.
True.
Presumably grotesque.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think. Are we going to assume that they were disfigured from their acts of evil?
No, probably not. A lot of evil people are just dashing as fuck.
Okay, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Following the evil knight's interment, it was hoped that their reign of terror on the community had at long last ended with their deaths. But less than a year later, the citizens of Ashbourne and the surrounding area were to learn the awful truth. On the evening of November 1st of the year following the celebrated demise of the corrupt Cavaliers, a stirring had been noticed in the derelict manor house that had been abandoned since the death of its owners. The unknown observer evidently approached the structure and bore witness to a sight he would take to his grave. According to legend, the eyewitness watched in what one can only assume was slack-jawed horror as he saw what he first assumed to be the dead men moving about the manor. It was only when the shadowy figures stepped into the pale streaks of moonlight filtering in through the windows that he realized he was not looking at ghosts, but the animate stone effigies of the villainous siblings.
They're back, but in stone form.
So, whatever evil had been interred with their bones, to get all Shakespeare, somehow transmorgified into the statues that were lying on top of their tombs.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Okay.
All right.
Which is just a whole
Perfect.
other twist. I mean, you
Yeah.
get ghost stories galore. You get an occasional zombie story. Maybe even a fun golem, which is a weird combination of matter and
Yeah,
the
that's
possessed.
complicated.
Yeah,
that's
The
golems
is.
are complicated.
Yeah.
Agreed. But this is just a whole other breed of cat.
This is a straight up statue moving around.
Yes.
All right.
Their heavy marble feet dragged across the cold stone floor, malevolent features chiseled into a perpetual grimace of frustration, as if somehow mourning the loss of their fleshy bodies and the carnal sins they indulged with it. Ooh. The accidental voyeur rushed back to tell his neighbors about the unbelievable horrors he had witnessed, and in no time a search party had been formed to inspect the graveyard in order to confirm the report.
Just imagine being the guy that has to get the search party together. Like, oh, Ted saw some evil statue shit in the manor. Get everyone together.
Yeah.
What are we going to take with us? Pitchforks, whether stone, chisels, maybe some hammers.
Yeah,
Like, what are you going to bring?
What do you do? Torches aren't going to
Torches ain't
affect
going to
stone.
do shit. You got to
No.
bring, dude, old school like mason tools. You got to get some
Yeah,
fucking.
that's
just some
like a-
bludgeoning bullshit.
That's a
Yeah.
long-term solution. Like,
mean, a
you
shovel-
can't just do it overnight.
you need to
gotta
have a
work
fucking
it.
something to chisel stone with.
Marble's not an easy stone to chip,
It's
as
not.
Michelangelo would tell us if
So
he were
what-
available.
how do you hunt these fuckers down? What do you got to do?
diamonds.
Yes. Go to the local nobleman.
And
Get his
get-
wife's
You
diamonds.
make
The diamond
you make
sword.
diamond scimitars.
Ooh,
It just makes
I
sense.
like
You
that.
fuck it up.
See, if you had been a villager back then,
I was thinking like
would've saved the day.
maybe like a gnat. I don't know.
net.
Yeah, gnat.
How do you fucking what?
You
A
fucking
gnat.
net it. You net it and you rope them, and then you knock them to the ground. They can't fucking move because they're made
But
of
they're
marble.
fucking statues.
But they're
How are you
heavy
gonna
as
down?
shit.
Yes, which
A
means
net
they're going to
wouldn't
be
do- you-
hard to pull
Yeah.
down.
I'm thinking Scooby Doo terms,
Low
guys.
center
Come
of
on.
gravity.
They would weigh a lot. I'm saying.
And if they did
would.
not want to be pulled down, and they would not want to be pulled down,
Maybe a
how
horse.
the fuck are you going to do it? A
Yeah.
horse
Yeah.
is a really good idea, actually. I wanted to be incredulous.
Actually, a horse. Yeah,
All
seriously.
right, so
A horse doing
diamond
what?
scimitar,
Yeah.
a super sturdy net,
A rope.
3 Clydesdales.
You know, yeah. They'll get the fucking Coors Light fucking horses. Remember those fuckers?
Shit.
Or no,
It was Bud.
It wasn't Coors. It was Bud.
Yeah,
Shit.
You're mixing up your domestics,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm fucking up my beers here.
Diamond scimitar's the way.
I know. It just seems expensive.
Either way, this group of fuckers, though I imagine it was a modest group because I can't imagine courage was overwhelming in terms of going out in the wee hours to see if statues are alive, went to the cemetery.
Okay.
To the mob's collective horror, it turned out that the account was accurate, and when they arrived at the cemetery, they were confronted by a barren marble slab where the effigies once lay.
That means you're still out there.
Still in the thick of it.
Oh, shit.
They presumably decided to leave before the living statues returned to their place of rest, and thus a legend was born. A legend that was ostensibly retold to the property's current owners to make sure that they were nowhere near the cursed estate on the eve in question, and would therefore not have to confront the sinister sculptures on their annual return to the scene of their crimes.
I mean, at least you got a time frame.
Yeah.
You can plan your holidays around this
Oh,
shit.
totally.
Yeah, you can. And if you have a kid, you're like, all right, kids, we got to fucking leave.
So, I mean, it's over, it's over 100 and almost 120 years from this event.
Right.
And I can't say we're less superstitious as a culture. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did everyone just get scared like I
That
did?
just totally
No,
scared.
but yeah,
I thought
no.
that was a statue about to hammer down the door. I don't know if the mics picked it up, but that thunder was so fucking loud.
was
yeah,
pretty loud,
yeah, it's storming out, and the buck is out.
You know, the
Yeah.
one time we do a goddamn ghost story,
They know. And well, if the lights go out, then what? We got to protect ourselves.
we're gonna have
from
to
statues.
read by candlelight.
Yeah, protect ourselves with
No, if
nets
the lights
and-
goes out, then that doesn't work, and you're not gonna know.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
I guess. Well, yeah. I got electricity.
Wow.
Derp.
We really are dumb as
We are.
shit. Thank you, Chris, for being the smart one.
Wow, this is why I handle the money.
This is
why.
Chris is our money guy.
Yeah.
He's our logistics. Yeah.
He's pretty much our parent.
Yeah, basically he's the
Thanks,
parent.
Dad.
All right,
Chris.
kids. When the power goes out,
Yeah.
get on the couch.
Oh shit.
Oh,
All right.
fuck. But as I was trying to say before we got terror stricken and too stupid for words, fucking if somebody told you, you're the homeowner here, Mark. If somebody told you that one day a year, fucking October 3rd, the dead owners are going to show up and it's going to be a bad scene. But it's not just the dead owners, it's statues of the dead owners, and they're going to fuck shit up.
Right.
Just be away. Would you dismiss that shit?
Oh no.
Or would you get your family the fuck out?
I wouldn't buy the fucking house. I'd be like, I'm not gonna sign this
deal. But bear
deal.
in mind, they found this out months after they had
Oh,
purchased
they
it.
already-
They had
okay,
already put
Yeah,
all the
you
repairs
can't
in.
just right.
Like they didn't get this heads up until autumn.
Yeah.
Basically, early autumn.
I would probably bail on that. Yeah, I'd probably bail.
You'd sell the house,
Probably.
but after you'd spent so much time,
Yeah,
you
but, you know, I mean,
you wouldn't until it happened.
Well, I mean,
You would like whatever.
yeah, I would have to actually like witness it. I guess
what I'm saying.
I'd have to like send Nicole and the kids away, and I'd have to like camp out and witness it myself to be like, okay, this is clearly a situation. So maybe I would do that before.
so you would sit there and wait for the undead statues to return to your
Well, I
home.
wouldn't like sit in the house like alone, like in the dark by myself. I would like, I don't know, like Metal Gear Solid this shit, like outside, like crouch down or whatever and hide and see if anybody shows up.
That's not realistic. If you were to buy a house now and it was like a $250,000 house,
Right.
and they're like, "Listen, man, we're gonna give you a deal. It's $250,000 house. There's 86 hot tubs. There's fucking. It comes with like
a lot of chlorine, but cool.
massage maids,
Oh yeah, for me, great, awesome.
and we're gonna we're gonna sell it to you for $75,000.
Right.
But every, October 1st,
Right.
the Goat King comes
fucking go.
and he punches your dick.
Right,
You're gonna be like, give me the paper. Let's fucking sign
Yeah.
this. You're not gonna send Nicole away and be like, dude, she said the Goat King's coming to punch
Yeah,
my
I'm gonna
dick.
be like, yeah, because I don't want the wife and the kids to be hurt by the Goat King
Yeah, but
punching
you're
my
not
dick.
gonna do that. You're gonna be like, oh my god, this person's
Yeah.
just crazy, and I got a good deal.
Maybe, yeah, no, maybe I would. Like I said though,
Then if the Goat King comes, then you gotta.
then I got to deal with it. Yeah, so I guess maybe
you're not
first
gonna-
before I make any.
you're
any
not gonna be hunkering down for the fucking Goat King.
Before I make any drastic decisions, I'm going to assess and be like, is this a situation? Like, is there going to be the Goat King coming to punch me in the dick?
How would you
Suck.
know? If the
Because
there's
he
no
would
way to
show
know
up.
until
Yeah.
you've bought the house.
Yeah.
Exactly. They say it, and then you just have to wait.
Well, no, I'm going under the idea that of what these people they had bought the house and then
Yes.
they heard about all this afterward.
That's how it works.
So no,
for the
I think if I
Sanfords.
came into the situation and they're like, look, once a year the Goat King comes and punches you in the dick, I would probably be like, fuck that. First of all, I don't want to get punched in the dick.
all
you
have
would
to do
not
is
give
be
up 9 hot
scarce.
tubs and fucking
I don't like.
massage maids.
You know that I don't like water, right? Like I don't have a pool that I don't swim in.
What do you like?
Not a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff. If it was a good enough deal, maybe I would. You're right though. You know what though? You are right. You're onto something here. Because if it was a good enough deal, I might be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll buy it. As a matter of fact, there is a house right near my house where a murder was committed not that long ago, and it was on the market, and it sold for stupid fucking cheap
Yeah.
because the woman was fucking disemboweled in the fucking basement.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I would probably buy that house if it was a good enough deal. And they're like, oh, by the way, there was a murder in the
Well,
basement.
not if the disemboweler returns fucking.
Well, no, remember that
Like
dude?
clockwork.
That dude went to like Mexico or whatever.
Disemboweler.
Remember in the news, the guy he fucking ran to Mexico and then came back or whatever.
I was speaking in the more
Oh,
random
the current,
terms.
right.
Right.
You know, if the disemboweler came back, then yeah, no, I don't want to be disemboweled either, or punched in the dick by the Goat King.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the Goat King though. The Goat King sounds kind of cool.
You don't
Maybe
know
you could
any
talk
of
to him
those
and be like,
things.
dude.
Like between September 30th and November 3rd, you just make yourself scarce. That is the day you go to the holiday or the 3 days. You spend time somewhere else.
Right.
And you avoid the fucking Goat King.
Yeah.
Goat King gets to go there and use the massage maid's fucking wares and scoop.
Is he gonna punch the massage maids?
No, not unless.
No,
well,
unless
unless the massage butlers are there.
Yeah,
then
unless
their
there's
dicks
massage-
are
Then
fucking
they
in
get all-
jeopardy.
So it's not just my dick that's in jeopardy. It's anyone that has a dick that's in jeopardy.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's a lot of dicks.
Well, until you do further research, then just punches genitals in general.
So there's oh, what a dick!
It's an
What a
asshole.
fucking- yeah, he's an asshole.
That's what I'm saying.
He's the
That's
Goat King. What do you
yeah.
Yeah, the fucking Goat King.
It's just
All
like,
right.
you just fucking kicks your
See, this
shit.
is why we need more videos so people can see
Okay.
that. That's great.
All right.
So
back
continue.
on target.
Stay
on target.
Yeah.
Oh, this was way. I
Stay
know.
on target, Luke.
It's like a half
Tangential.
hour. We're only in page 2. All right, let's fucking
yeah, I know.
get it together. Let's read some story.
The Sanfords, being savvy city folk and thus inured to the superstitions of locals, listened politely but dismissed the notion altogether.
Duh.
Perhaps their neighbors were being serious, or maybe they were just having fun with the new residents. Either way, they thought, how is it possible that, at the dawn of the 20th century, one could believe in such rubbish? They would soon find out.
Okay.
Foreshadowing. After months of sweat and grief, Robert and Mary finally managed to whip their lover's retreat into shape. It was all that they had dreamed it could be and more. Satisfied with a job well done and anticipating the years they would have to continue improving the grounds and maybe even fill the cottage's cozy rooms with the sound of laughing children, Robert and Mary settled down after a long day for their evening ritual of tea by a welcoming fireside. It was a crisp autumn dusk, and upon taking his last sip, Robert decided to take a stroll through the woods before darkness consumed the path. Mary, not sharing her husband's love of brisk walks through shadowy forests, decided to remain by the comforting warmth of the crackling hearth.
Yeah, why do you want to be that guy? Like, I'm going to go for a nice dark walk.
Because that's
And
how
your
Robert
wife's
rolls.
like, you're a fucking creep.
Pretty much.
But
All
it's
right.
like fall, and it's
I don't know.
fall's
It's a
dope.
nice, and you
Fall's
know,
dope.
Yeah,
the
but I don't
moon
know. It's
shining.
dark.
I know. I like
Your wife's
nighttime
inside,
walks.
and
That's
she's
what
like,
I'm
fuck
saying.
you, Robert. I'm not going for a dark walk. Because if her shit
I
happens.
walk a lot at night. I have for many years. It's
Okay,
just my
well,
jam.
we just have different lives, I guess, different paths.
Neither one of them was even remotely concerned that the date was November 1st. All Saints Day.
Day. Oh, no.
It's almost impossible to imagine that Robert was anything but the picture of contentment as he ambled off his property and into the woods. The trail was well lit by the moon, and the landowner wandered aimlessly, relishing the sights and sounds of his new countrified existence. Realizing that he'd been gone longer than intended and not wanting to unduly worry his wife, Robert meandered back onto the winding path that led through the dilapidated churchyard. Some might be inclined to avoid cemeteries altogether, especially in the dead of night, but Robert was not such a man. Besides, he reckoned, it was the swiftest path home.
Oh, never do a fucking shortcut through the graveyard, dude.
All the time I walk in Fort Hill at night. We all have.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
See? It's because you're not a cemetery night walker that you can't empathize
But there has to be
with
some
Robert.
semi-light. Like, there's been times where it's been like a new moon, and I've pondered it when I was around Gallows Street, and you can't see anything.
Anything.
So
You
I'm
just
like,
imagine, like,
just
if-
because I can't make my way through it because I can't fucking see where I'm going.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've all been there too.
All right.
Despite his intentions of a hasty return, Robert paused near the cemetery gate, seemingly to savor the solitude, when something caught his eye. At first he wasn't sure what he had noticed, but something seemed amiss. That's when it registered and Robert stood gape-mouthed, almost doubting the evidence of his senses. John Macklin, in his 1965 book Strange Destinies, described the scene thusly. Through the trees, the tomb of the evil knights glowed brightly against the dark sky. Every detail was thrown into sharp relief. There was no doubt the slab on top of the tomb was unquestionably empty. The effigies had gone.
Oh, he found them. They're not there. We didn't find them. He found a lack of them.
Which is also a discovery of sorts.
Yeah.
At first, Robert surmised that their disappearance must be the work of some practical jokers, but he could not imagine for whose benefit the joke might have been perpetrated. There was no one for miles around, and no way could anyone know that he would have spontaneously given in to the urge to take a nighttime stroll past the graveyard. Furthermore, he realized a sizable group of vandals would be required to even budge the huge stone figures, much less carry them away. Perplexed, he quickened his pace, wondering if he ought to tell Mary what he'd seen. Would she be frightened or simply amused that the local pranksters had gone through so much trouble for their benefit?
It is a pretty complicated prank.
It is pretty
You got to
complicated.
get like 6 guys to move each one.
Yeah.
If it's solid ass marble,
Yeah, it's like a dozen dudes.
it's a fucking lot of dudes.
About midway between his home and the cemetery, Robert abruptly swung around and retraced his steps. He simply would not trust his own observations. He had to know for sure whether or not the effigies had been moved. It was a decision that would seal his fate.
His OCD kicked in. See, this happens to me every day.
So you get that one part.
Yeah,
Chris and I
totally.
get the cemetery
Yeah,
walks.
no,
You-
I'm like,
you
no,
get
when I
that.
gotta go
Yeah,
check to make
right.
sure that the stove's off 4 times, because if not, my house is gonna blow up. Yeah, I got a lot of money around in
Dude,
that
I do
fucking
that with my
house.
front door.
I do the same thing with my front door,
Like, I lock it, and I know I lock it.
and I got Ring cameras. You can't fucking
I
even
must
come to my
check
door.
it 7 or 8
Yeah,
times.
no, same here.
I'm like, I know I did, but then I'm like, but did I?
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate
Well, I mean,
that's a
maybe in
thing.
this guy's situation,
If
when
there's
he's
one
like,
thing
hey,
that I've learned, is that Robert's plight is universal. Some of us like to walk at night. Some of us
Yeah.
like to check shit over and over again.
It's just the front
He
door.
is all of us.
He is. He is.
Every
Robert,
man.
Robert
Robert.
is every man.
Robert braced himself and then boldly walked back into the churchyard, trying to show in action the courage that was almost certainly quickly waning in his breast. The moon had slipped under a layer of low-hanging clouds, cloaking the cemetery in a Stygian shroud of blackness.
Stygian.
Robert struck a match and thrust it toward the marble surface. There laid the figures of the baleful brothers, side by side, exactly as they had always been. He heaved a sigh of relief, grateful to have been a victim of a trick of the light and an overactive imagination.
So they're there.
They're there.
Oh, see, this is. God damn it.
Story's over.
Patreon.
But it's not.
But it is not.
But it is not. I see pages.
There are pages.
Looking
Multiple
at pages.
I'm still reading the story here, so.
We all are.
Robert. Oh, God. Excuse me. Robert used the remainder of his matches to make sure that there were no signs of disturbance or any indication that the statues had been moved in the slightest. He could find nothing save for the fact that one of the brothers was missing 2 fingers on the right hand. It was a small defect that he'd assumed he'd overlooked in the past. Much pleased by the discovery, Robert hurried back to the cottage. Perhaps he would tell Mary of his folly, and they'd both share a good laugh at his expense, and that's a sign of a healthy couple. When you can't wait to tell your significant other of the dumb shit you did,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I
Yeah.
tell my wife about all the dumb shit I do constantly. She gets
called
a kick
love.
out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, Mark, you're dumb. I'm like, Nick, I know. Thanks.
You married me.
Yeah, you're married. Congratulations. Who's the real dumb one? Ah!
You've never said that.
I never
No,
have.
you never have at all.
never.
Although the hour drew late, Robert knew that his wife habitually waited for him to return home before turning in for the night. As he approached the cottage, he gave a piercing whistle which always heralded his arrival, and to which his wife invariably responded in kind.
That's kind of cute.
Whistle back.
Whistle?
Yeah.
And then she whistles back. Oh, that's adorable.
Absolutely.
Until.
Maybe a little bit controlling, but kind of adorable.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
think it's
know.
more adorable.
I
Who's
don't
controlling
know. I'm
who?
saying,
It's
he's
her choice to
whistling
whistle
at her.
back.
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1901.
What?
Oh, yeah.
the
Times
fuck?
things were different.
This time, he was greeted only by silence and a darkened home with no welcoming light in it. Does anyone else get the sense of foreboding?
Yeah.
There's no ham made, no pies made.
No, nothing.
Salmon pie free.
Flags were not sewn.
Oh, Betsy Ross never came a calling.
In England?
What the
Really?
fuck?
I need 40,
Everywhere,
I need
everywhere
Union
around the
Jacks
world.
immediately.
Shh. Oh, God damn it.
That was a metaphor.
I know, but
No, it wasn't
is a
really,
Union
no.
Jack a thing?
Yeah.
I was
Yes,
making
it's the
sure.
fucking- it's the
I don't
British
know.
flag.
I'm sorry, British
Is it a
listeners.
thing?
I don't know.
Is it?
I thought it was.
You're a
it real?
fucking punk rock
I
fan.
feel like it's
How
a
do you not know
superhero, but
that?
is it real?
Oh, it has to be a fucking... DC had to have made a character called Union Jack. at
No,
some
Marvel
point.
did.
Did they? I knew somebody.
Yeah,
did.
there's Captain Britain, which
there's a
is
Union Jack.
That was
Yeah.
part of the Justice League Europe.
No. We're talking Marvel.
I know,
Yeah,
but no, Captain Britain, I think.
was Marvel.
No, he was Marvel.
Oh, it was Marvel?
Yeah.
I
Because
believe-
What the fuck?
he
Well,
had,
there
he had
was something.
Excalibur.
I think so. Yeah,
There
it
was
an
definitely
Excalibur.
a
yeah.
dude who looked like Vindicator, but instead of the maple leaf, he had the Union Jack on his chest. And he was part of Justice League International or Europe or one of those things.
I think you're conflating the two. I'm pretty sure you are. I don't remember a Justice League member.
Entirely possible, but there was definitely a character called the
Yeah.
Beefeater. Remember him?
Oh my god, I do.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. All
And he
right.
looked exactly like a fucking masked Beefeater.
He did.
It's great.
He did.
But again,
Wow, that was a digression.
That was
Jesus
a huge
Christ.
digression. Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Quit arguing about Captain Britain. No, he's fucking Excalibur. He's like, you know what?
Excalibur, fucking Lockheed's there. Or
Which is funny because they relaunched Excalibur with Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain.
They really?
I think so.
Interesting. Let's check that out.
That is really nerdy.
That is super
Let's
nerdy.
move along.
I like it. Let's keep going, Robert.
I'll try. You know, let's can we build back into the foreboding mood?
Okay, yes, here we go.
Robert instinctively knew that something was terribly wrong. He couldn't remember who was Captain Britain and which universe
Yeah,
he or she belonged to.
None of us did. None of us did.
No,
This
I said
haunted him
Marvel.
on the trek
I
home.
said Marvel.
The instant he stepped inside, he was stifled by a strange, petrifying stillness that seemed to permeate the air inside his home. Having squandered all of his matches in the graveyard, Robert frantically fumbled through the inky darkness to find more, all the while screaming his wife's name with ever-increasing alarm.
Oh, no.
When he eventually found a match, he used it to kindle the flame in a lamp. As the lamp's dim light illuminated the room, Robert was shocked by what he saw. Again, according to Macklin. The little sitting room looked as though it had been wrecked by a bomb. The stone floor was split as though it had been subjected to shattering blows. The walls were cracked and battered, and a heavy table had been overturned and splintered. That's some fucking serious damage.
Yeah, that's some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, stone walls popped,
Cracked. Yeah, it's not
stone
good.
floor shattered, fucking. But the inexplicably cracked floor and the gouges in the solid rock walls would not be the worst of it. In the midst of all this destruction was the most dreadful image of all. The lifeless body of Mary Sanford. Her throat crushed, her face a frozen mask of horror, her body splayed unladylike across the fragmented flooring.
No way to die. That
No.
sucks.
Devastated, her young husband dashed the 3 miles to the nearest village for help. It's hard to imagine that the image of the anguished and weeping Robert did not cause a stir in the close-knit community, but the villagers knew full well the date, and, after all, they had been warned.
Oh, dude.
Despite the fact that many from the region likely refused to tangle with these ethereal entities, the Ashbourne police managed to gather an impromptu posse of villagers to search for the housewife's deplorable assassins. In the end, as many suspected, the search proved to be unsuccessful. They knew that the culprits were back where they belonged, rigid on the graves of the merciless knights, where the insidious icons would remain immobile for yet another year. And that's some fucking creepy shit.
See, I couldn't live with this. I
Yeah.
would not be able to live with this at all. As a villager, I would be like, fuck this. We're taking care of this shit. Like, we're going to crack the fuck out of these statues. We're going to, I don't know, put them in a river, do something.
Yeah, but a river's
Sink 'em?
not... So what? So they're wet when they come back?
Maybe
Laying
bring...
them at the bottom of a river is not going to help
All right,
anybody.
I'm not a master of good ideas, hence why Chris runs most of the shit. What I'm saying
Well,
is,
here's the other thing, too, though.
get a chisel and dismantle these fuckers.
If you dismantle them, then maybe the evil that comes but one evening a year just now has fucking carte blanche.
I don't know, man.
and
Someone
can just
better
run
give me a
rampant.
fucking. Somebody
Well,
better give me a
maybe.
letter with that in there.
Well, I'm just saying.
Just saying.
You destroy something like this. This could be like the best way of encapsulating the evil,
Or maybe it's just cursed.
or maybe it's just cursed.
So
and
if
if
you
destroy
fucking
it,
destroy it, yeah.
maybe you fucking
Oy,
put
oy.
the bones in vats of holy water, and you chain the statues in there and put it in steel and then seal it in concrete, and then
True.
you put it at the bottom of an abbey like Prince of Darkness, where fucking a special order of
Smash.
priests can watch over it day in, day out. for all
Smash the
eternity.
bones, chisel the statues, call it a day.
Yeah, but what if that doesn't work?
Well, it's better than doing what they're doing right now.
Well, no, it's not. What if these fucking evil brothers can come out every night of the week?
I don't
and,
know
and
if
murder
well,
random
we don't.
citizenry?
But we don't know if the statues are like if that's what's keeping them there. We don't know that.
Or
if they're just
we don't know
cursed-
if it's a help, if it's a hindrance, if destroying the statue saves everything, or if destroying the statues unleashes
I'm saying the
evil.
first step that you take is you smash their bones into dust, and then you fucking dismantle, you just chisel the shit out of the statues, and they're all gone.
I'm saying the first step that you take is don't be in that fucking house one night a year.
You got to take a stand.
What if it makes it worse? You're the same motherfucker that wants to drop witches left and right
Yeah.
and deal with it later.
You
Deal
need
with
to
their
take a
wrath.
stand. Take a stand. Once in your life, take a stand.
Who is starting the goddamn ultra-terrestrial militia?
Exactly. This could be the step. This could be number 2. The anti-curse fucking statue brigade, motherfucker. Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
you know, one has to wonder if something has been fucking done with it since, because
don't know.
I don't know if this is an ongoing problem
No,
in the
no one
fucking
knows.
Peak District,
Okay.
but it might be.
All right.
But this tale of woe is not over.
Never is.
No.
Nope.
The day before Mary's funeral, Robert found himself alone in the cottage standing over the body of his dead wife. As was the tradition at the time, funerals were held in the home and the body laid
right,
in
right,
stasis. I don't know what you call it in state. Well, that's only for famous people. Anyway, the body...
Like being observed,
Yeah,
right?
it's just
Okay.
basically the wakes were
Yeah.
held at the home.
Yeah,
and
it sucks.
just put him up on the kitchen
It
table.
was in
and-
cryostasis.
Yeah, I'm glad that I missed that part of the fucking 19 whatever.
Yeah, could you imagine like just having to hang
No.
with the corpse for days?
No.
I mean, even a loved one. It's
No,
it's gonna
sorry,
get creepy. Yeah.
dude.
He glanced about at the permanently scarred walls of the home that he and his beloved had put their heart and souls into, wondering what could have possibly inflicted such damage and who could have been so cruel as to snuff the life out of one so young and kind. Robert's mind raced, returning again and again to the eerie churchyard and the undeniable atmosphere of doom that had infiltrated his house that awful night, but he was unable to make any sense of it. He refused to believe what the villagers were whispering about his wife's killers, that they were assassins of stone brought to life by a diabolical curse. Man of logic until the end. Robert grasped for his wife's hand one last time, pulling her now rigid fingers open as delicately as possible, when suddenly something fell from her unyielding grip and clattered across the floor. Mystified, the bereaved husband bent over to see what his wife had managed to clench onto as she lay dying. With hitched breath, the grieving widower bent over and picked up the polished white stone that were carved in the shape of 2 fingers. Unable to believe his eyes, Robert instantly knew that the stories were true.
She had the broken fingers from the statue clutched in her hands.
Her dead hands.
And apparently,
bring it back.
Cold dead hands.
whoever prepared the corpse
did a really poor job.
totally phoned that one in.
Sometimes you just want to dress the
yeah,
body.
they're like,
let it
dude,
go.
her throat's crushed. Fuck it. I'm not checking anything.
Oh, no.
You know,
there's no
1901
autopsy.
Dickensian autopsies? Come on. No dice.
Well,
pile of dead kids you gotta
maybe.
deal with. Fuck it, whatever.
we
you're
can
fine.
discuss it after. I
All
feel
right.
like that's a little scapped. But
It might be. It might be. I got a theory about
Perhaps
this.
it's embellishment,
I
perhaps not.
got a theory about Robert.
The stories were true, according to Robert. at
Okay,
this point.
fine. All right,
The Stone brothers had come to life and returned home, and his wife, first looking for the solitude of the countryside, then the simple comforts of a warm fire, had been a victim of an ancient affliction, a sinister scourge that had wreaked havoc on all that he held most dear. What happened to Robert Sanford is not clear. It's doubtful that he remained at the site of his greatest sorrow, and it's unknown if anyone else was courageous or foolhardy enough to take residence in the cursed cottage. But one can imagine that, even to this day, the citizenry of Ashbourne avoid the region at all costs on November 1st. For in that corner of the Peaks District, All Saints' Day is less about remembering the sacred deeds of saints and more about fearing the wicked deeds of sinners, even ones that are long dead.
Oh, the dead are coming back to get you.
The dead live. Fear the dead.
We had a nice little harmonic moment. They're like, fear the dead. Oh
Oh my God, it was almost like nuclear assault.
no! It's a little bit like
I was actually doing Sam Kinison.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, no, I think I was doing like a late '80s, early '90s hardcore. Fear the dead. The 4-H.
Well played.
That was my Brothers Keepers impression for any Brothers Keepers fans out there. The Continuum is an awesome song. So, okay, let's get this started.
To the nitty of the gritty.
I don't even
So,
know.
This is not
As-
like shit we
as
usually tag.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it's
we usually have
it's full of-
eyewitnesses
yeah.
to either extraterrestrial entities or
Right.
cryptozoological entities or maybe
So I
the
guess-
rare doll.
I'm brought the rare doll. I'm immediately brought to that quite possibly this is just a murder that he covered up by trying to blame it on some
Oh, it
statues.
sure seems like it.
It
like,
sort
it
of feels
does.
in
that
this
way.
culture of ultra forensics and first 48s and true crime being, I don't know, prevalent on literally half the fucking channels.
Yeah.
It's almost hard not to think that Robert Sanford had just had enough.
Yeah,
was
that son of a
tired.
bitch.
He couldn't
snapped.
take it.
She's not happy. Like, he thought he didn't like London, but living alone
Yeah.
with that woman
The hustle and the bustle.
was driving him batshit crazy.
Yeah.
He left his mistress behind. He left his drinking buddies behind.
Right.
He was stuck with a Norman church, and as he was making that long walk at night, he thought, if there's one night to do it.
Yeah, and he could easily cover it up by being like, "Oh, but here's the thing, though, too, is that I'm assuming in 01?
01.
There's police, right?
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
I'm saying, I mean, the police
No.
It was a lawless time.
So,
1923, the first police officers were established in
oh,
England.
really? Were they like
1923.
Irish dudes in New York?
Yeah,
oh,
exactly
cool.
like that. They imported the Irish.
They imported
Yes,
that
there
over.
were fucking police.
Yeah. Okay. So there is.
They're actually mentioned in the story, if you recall.
You are correct. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Okay, so at what point are the police going to be like, oh, yeah, no, clearly it's All Saints Day and you fucked up by being around, therefore you're dead, case closed? You would really think that the cops would be like, okay, her fucking throat's crushed, the place is torn the fuck apart, he was out for a quote-unquote walk, and it just so happens that he comes back and she's dead, and then he runs 3 miles to the nearest town?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what he said.
Okay.
I mean, they were living in isolation.
I don't want to poo-poo it off the gate because I do like the idea of cursed statues. I think it's fun, and I think we should dismantle them and we should crush their bones into dust.
I still take umbrage. You
That's
might
fine.
be releasing the
We'll talk
evil
about
forevermore.
that. There's no documentation about that at all. There's no doctrine.
Wow.
There's
the
no
doctrine
There's
of
no
dealing
doctrine.
with evil statues.
Exactly. So I'm going to start off by saying, skeptically speaking, Robert killed his wife, blamed it on the statues. And for some reason, I don't know, the cops weren't feeling it that day, and they were like, yeah, fuck it, it's the statues. And the guy probably got away with murder.
I mean, if they were locals, and the cops almost certainly were, and they happened to buy the legend, which at that point had been centuries old.
Even if they didn't.
Or maybe they didn't.
Or maybe
they
they
were
were
like,
lazy.
People are not smart. We've established this.
You guys, yeah.
Turn
I'm
of the
here every
century
week.
people, especially.
Yeah, they're pretty dumb.
Wow. It's being a little harsh.
No, it's not.
On our great-grandparents.
We're kind of dumb.
My
I'm shocked that we've achieved what we have.
Yeah, really. I mean,
considering.
Listen to how we talk every week. Like,
it is.
We
very
can be pretty
few of us
fucking dumb.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's kind of our-
We were going to do a podcast in a blackout, the two of us. So yeah,
I don't
with
think,
no power.
yeah.
but
we're standing
but
head and
us
shoulders
being,
above
yeah,
the rest.
but us being dumb is kind of our part-time job. So
That's
thank
true.
you, thank you, Patreon.
All right.
Truth is.
Here's what is a wicked pisser. So we're going to say that it's a real chance. But if Robert had murdered his wife and wanted to blame a local legend, if he took the time to chip those fingers off and put them in her hand, and nobody fucking found them, so he had to discover them himself later.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
What a wicked pisser that would be. Like, he just worked it out. He chiseled
was-
them off.
yeah.
He put them in the hand.
To be like, oh, that's a good
And
idea,
so when the
Rob. I
cops
like
come,
that.
they're gonna
True
be
crime,
like,
yeah.
He nails it, and then they don't find it, so he has to
And
find
then
it
he's
himself.
like, oh, geez, look, God,
oops,
no,
oh.
oh God, he was killed by a statue.
Yeah. Well, that's the only part. Well, not the only part, but that is very urban legendy. That last part.
Sounds.
It smacks of
it sounds like
that part
because
especially.
It sounds like the hook on the handle
hook
of
in
the
the handle,
car.
exactly.
Yeah,
Or any
yeah.
number of
totally.
campfire stories you'd hear,
100%.
and
Yeah, totally.
And so maybe that part's true, maybe that part's an embellishment, maybe it's all a fucking lie, and we can't rule that out either. But seeing that we all concede that this might be in a more credulous time, a man who just got away with murdering a significant other.
And blaming it on a fucking statue, and for some reason, people bought it.
Let's move on to other possibilities.
Okay, so if this is a curse,
The living dead.
I think are you like the person? Do you like know about curses and whatnot? Like,
Yeah, no,
are you
curses are go-to.
He looked
Are
at
you
me
our
like, are you the
I don't know.
person? I'm like,
I'm
am I
I don't
the
know, 'cause
person?
He's pod dad. He's
Yeah.
treasurer.
I look
he
when
knows
I
how electricity works.
when I need information.
know.
I mean, I'm okay with electricity. I'm not bad. We can put batteries. in
Listen,
this thing.
you're
We
the
can
only
pod.
one that ever actively did a spell. And the curse is technically a spell.
I never actually did.
Shut
a
up,
spell.
you spelled out.
So
Sigil,
fucking
no sigil
Jiminy
magic.
Sigil
off,
over
it's a
here is
spell.
probably our go-to
Don't
guy.
give me those
I
bullshit
didn't
semantics.
actually like,
It's a spell.
Okay, fine.
I did sigil work.
That's, wow, that's just so like you're just attacking me in my sigil work.
I am. It's a
Why?
goddamn
But
spell.
the
Don't even
sigil work
say-
helped. It helped me.
Sure it did.
It did.
Listen, if it makes you feel better.
Antidepressants may have also helped too, but sigils didn't. Sigils didn't hurt. All right.
Yeah, no.
The non-evidence evidence.
Drugs
I
and
love it.
dope always help too.
At
but
some point, my drugs help me too, and drinking helped. At some point, we do have to have an episode where I talk about the little dabbling into sigils that I did do, and then
Yeah.
how I was just noticing like weird. It's a long story, but anyway, we'll get to it someday.
No,
Maybe
no,
for a
we're-
Patreon
oh,
episode. It's pretty
I'm
good.
excited.
we're gonna do
All
it.
right, so curses be damned, right?
Oh, I don't listen. None of us are experts on curses.
But I'm just asking Chris. I don't know. He's read more D&D books than I have.
Yeah, that doesn't make you an expert
but
on
maybe
fucking
he doesn't-
This
curses.
doesn't translate
Okay,
into the
all right,
reality
so-
of anything.
All right,
Like,
so
we
if
all
it's
know,
real.
like, the curse of King Tut's tomb. We know standard
yeah,
practice
the curse of Al
curses.
Capone's grave, right? No, Al
Oh,
Capone's
Jesus
vault, his vault,
Christ.
his
That is not,
fucking vault.
unless it cursed Geraldo Rivera's
The
career.
curse, yeah,
It's not a fucking curse.
I don't know if it's a curse. I don't know.
Jesus.
I don't. I told you I don't fucking know about
no.
curses.
Stop.
Listen,
It's only called a curse because it's a legendary thing that keeps happening. Let's talk about it more in terms of a paranormal event.
okay. So if these statues, for some reason, once a year on All Saints Day, are embodied by the pure evil of these barbaric brothers, I would assume that there's something that you can do to break the cycle.
As you've been saying.
Okay.
As I've been saying,
Well, how did
break
that
the cycle.
how did
but
that start?
now Chris is right though. How did it start? So were they just so evil that they could not be contained in
That's a good question.
marble?
Why once a year?
It's All Saints Day. I mean, isn't it All Saints Day when shit happens? I don't know.
I
well,
mean,
they say the veil between here.
Yeah, fucking
and
dude.
the
No,
doom.
we were talking about
let's not
November's
do the
coming.
doofy voice.
We were
No,
talking
doofy voice galore.
Yeah, doofy voice everywhere.
Listen, old British Isle lore, especially
Okay.
Celtic, has it that the festival of Samhain and whatever is when, like Chris said, the veil.
Yeah,
Dude, no,
no.
that-
Listen, I
Jesus
listen.
I know, but when listen, we can all take this with a grain of salt, but just talking from a traditional folkloric standpoint, that is supposed to be a
Okay.
time when the dead can walk
No, I know.
and
Listen.
demons and
All
whatnots
right,
can
yeah, dude,
travel.
we were talking about
to our realm.
we were talking about
Aesthetically, I
November's
love it.
Coming Fire earlier.
I love
remember?
all of it.
I do
but
remember.
My favorite Sam Hain record.
I'm proud of you
Thank
for that.
you.
I love it. I love the whole.
I love it too. I think it's
Aesthetically,
great.
I love
think
all
it's
of
awesome.
Halloween.
I
I love the whole
Halloween.
season.
I love Halloween.
If
I
I'm not
believe
saying
it,
it
but-
lends veracity because that's a stretch, but I am saying that if there was one day a year,
All right, maybe then.
when the veil is thinnest, that would be the day when the dead would walk. But it's not the dead walking, and it's not ghosts coming back.
No, it's these
the most
statues.
interesting thing is, and part of me can't help because if we, like again, we have to suspend our disbelief to a certain degree. Let's just we were pragmatic as fuck in the beginning. Let's just take it at face value that this is what's happening and trying to understand why. Could it be that these sinister siblings or whatever fucking as I call them are so vile that they were never supposed to be in hallowed ground? And so it's somehow
is that-
corrupted the hallowed ground that the clergy, either by means of force or bribery or whatever, allowed these
So is
evil
that-
siblings to be buried in what was once holy earth.
Is that where they fucked up because
And
they put
maybe
him
it
in
was-
the hollow ground and
Maybe
then
it sullied it. It was a corruption.
Jesus did this. He was like, no, they're coming back once a year.
Jesus,
I
did
don't
this.
know why
I don't know.
Jesus.
So-
would
I
do
don't
Someone-
know.
someone
Like,
did it.
in the history of ever. I've never heard of a.
Someone did it.
Who would do that? Who would be like, all right,
I've
fine,
never
you're coming
heard
back?
that.
Jesus would.
Normally, what
What's the pet
happens?
cemetery?
Well,
yearly
yeah.
pet cemetery?
Except it's statuary.
Oh yeah,
Pet statuary.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Anyway,
But generally, evil. Generally, something evil never in history has been more powerful than good. If anything, evil was put in something and surrounded by good until somebody fucked up the barrier or whatever it was that kept the evil at bay.
the shield, right?
And then it got out.
that is what traditional lore has allowed.
Yeah, it's never.
Again, going
that means
back to
nothing but
one of my favorite John Carpenter films, Prince of Darkness, which I mentioned
Love
earlier
it.
and we'll mention again and again. It's
great,
The
yeah.
idea of this eternal evil being held at bay by human beings and faith and weird architectural designs that had been there since a time immemorial. Now, I'm not saying it applies to this, but maybe they were hoping that the evil would be put at bay by the Norman Church and,
Right.
and the holiness of the sanctuary, but maybe it worked opposite. Like say, maybe by the corruption of allowing people that two men that absolutely should not have been buried in these grounds to be buried there, maybe it unsanctified it. That doesn't in any way, though, explain how A, the dead could walk, period, or B, how the evil
Yeah.
could infiltrate the stone.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a little weird.
Because that's not a common thing. I mean,
No.
like I said earlier, that scared me since I was a kid. Every time you've ever looked at a creepy old statue, and Chris and I were raised Roman Catholic, so you see a lot of statuary in churches.
Yeah, no, it's creepy.
The idea of statues moving, especially those like slate concrete ones with the
What,
blank eyes.
What was it?
Dude, it wasn't even just like
What's the
any,
church over
any
near the-
show where there was like a not like a statue or it was just a picture
Right.
of a face or something and open his eyes.
Oh yeah.
Even fucking the original Clash
Anything
of Titans,
inanimate.
when Athena's head falls and then all of a sudden
yeah.
she starts talking,
It's so scummy.
I'm like,
even though it's obviously a weird
it's
transposed,
gross.
shitty special effects, but it's
gross.
grubby. Oh, I
Yeah.
agree.
So
What's
I was
the,
like,
I
fuck.
agree. Moving statues it hits a
gross.
fundamental chord.
It's
I
weird.
think in
It's
all
weird.
people.
What's the church over near the Hollywood restaurant in Michael's?
St. Francis.
And they have all the statues there.
Yeah, they have
when
that
we
whole
were,
shrine.
When we
Yeah.
were kids, it used to be like, I'll go there at midnight and look in Mary's eyes and you'll die.
Really?
Yeah, and and I mean,
I
we
never
all,
heard of
that
we all
church, yeah.
tried it, and no one.
Yeah,
thankfully,
the
no one.
Virgin Mary's
I did not try that.
unholy,
I don't
hateful
know because
days.
we were fucking kids and we were like, dude, look in her eyes and you'll die at midnight. And
That's
I
only
mean,
for the heathens like
Yeah,
you
it's
that
true.
didn't grow up.
yeah.
That was before you converted. So yeah,
Yeah.
you were in jeopardy.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was. Okay, so we have curse, we have murder, and we have I mean maybe home invasion. That this guy is just being. I mean, think about it. Actually, home invasion. If someone didn't, if there was some sort of crime perpetrated, they'd be like,
That's
"Oh,
true.
we're going to do it on All Saints
So-
Day because we can blame them the fucking statues."
So
And people are fucking dumb and don't know the statues don't come to
like
life.
evil locals
Yeah, totally.
or whatever know the legend of the brothers Grimm and their evil deeds, and they go there with a sledgehammer so they can pound the fuck out of the floor and wall and table and make it look like heavy hands of stone did damage. They maybe molest or violate or do something heinous to this wife.
Maybe. Crush the
And
throat.
then bash her throat in with said sledgehammer to make it look like, again, a heavy hand of stone did the work.
Unless do they steal anything? Oh, that doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, this is the problem with
It's just
turn of the
destruction.
century
Yeah,
forensics.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah,
The-
that is definitely
or
a
lack
misnomer.
thereof.
It's
Yeah.
the problem with this.
All right, so I say to round this out, I'm gonna go with that he killed his wife and blamed it on a statue.
So you're going the pragmatic,
I'm going the pragmatic, logical.
I understand.
Killed the wife, blamed it on the statue. If I was to go the other way with the evil, I would say smash the bones, chisel the statues.
We've been down there. I don't think there's any guarantee that destroying these effigies and or the bones beneath
If I don't
them.
see paperwork stating that there ain't, I'm
Listen,
doing
I don't
it.
see
Listen.
paperwork saying that it will.
Then we're doing it.
Listen.
You're so fucking infuriating.
That's why we're doing it.
Well, there's no paperwork either way.
Hold my beer.
It does feel more
wow,
true
I'm
crimey.
gonna send it.
You son of a bitch.
All right, Chris, what do you think?
It definitely feels more true crimey.
True crime, okay.
But definitely, if you can't defeat the effigy by destroying the effigy. You need to defeat the source of that, which would be
the bones of the
the
unholy.
fucking bones. And generally,
Yeah.
they need to be sanctified and burned and just obliterated.
And we can do that. That's not that hard.
Oh, well,
I'm saying.
I already told you about
We
crushing
can
the
do that.
bones.
In
putting them in
1901,
a vat
yeah.
of holy water.
Fuckers didn't know.
Sealing it in steel and concrete, burying it beneath an abbey that's actively sacred.
Not even volcano.
An abbey built at the edge of a volcano.
No, you have to you have to get
No,
rid
because
of the
that's
bones.
pagan as fuck. It's like throwing
From
the bones into a
existence.
volcano might
Just
just
smash-
amplify
No.
its evil.
No, that doesn't
Dude,
work
like
that
you
way.
did
You
with,
don't know
like
that.
They did
I
with,
do know
no,
that way.
like they did with
Oh,
Freddy.
now you're the curse expert.
I am facts now.
Yeah,
I am.
Remember
facts.
how they did that with fucking Freddy Krueger in the graveyard?
I certainly do.
They fucking took the
Yeah.
bones out, and then he was like fucking skeletal
it
Freddy
worked
and shit.
super well, didn't it?
No, because it got all fucked up.
Yes, because it got
'Cause
all
they didn't
fucked
do
up.
it right.
No,
on
wasn't
shitty
nice
writers for the
Ray
next movie,
Harryhausen
so.
fight scene between
It
John
was
Saxon
pretty
and
fucking
Craig
dope.
Wesson and Skeletal Freddy.
Skeletal Freddy was pretty fucking dope. All right, Robert. So what do you think?
No one,
Oh,
no
the
one
Akashic
wanted to
record.
deal with fucking science here.
Classic record.
Yeah, all right.
he just got mad.
The bones access to the
Classic record.
You guys can fuck off. I nailed Jeff. You gave him a tumor. I gave him wisdom. So fuck the fuck off.
I gave him
both
some
of you.
shit I made up.
Chris
That's not.
Goss
I did
cancer
not
and a
make that
weasel.
up. I'm gonna tell you some other shit I didn't make up.
Oh shit.
Quantum entanglement.
What does that mean?
Is he bilocational?
Yeah, by definition.
Yeah,
Two
no, I know.
objects separated by vast space but interconnected and moving in the same way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that whatever energy represents the soul, vile though it may be in the case of these fucking brothers, somehow became quantumly entangled with the actual marble that was carved in their likeness through, I don't know, maybe a lightning bolt, maybe magic, maybe fucking some crazy super science that nobody knew about back in the 1300s or whenever the fuck they died. And so through quantum entanglement, whatever the evil of these brothers wanted to have happen, the stones actually enacted. But for whatever reason, and I can't qualify on this part, it only happened once a year. quantum fucking entanglement.
Okay.
Well, that was Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, I'm looking at the father of all curses over here. I mean, is that a thing? I don't know. Does that work?
Ask Chris if it's a thing.
I don't know.
Why? Can I have that shirt, please?
Father of all curses.
It is a great title.
Father of knowledge of curses.
We have to have Father of all curses, miniature corpsecue, and enigmatic entity. Those would be shirts. So hopefully we'll have the
God,
public
all right.
soon. So I think we have everything nailed down, right? We
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
perfect.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Yeah, there
We're
it is.
done.
All right. So quantum entanglement, true crime, and smash the bones and fucking chisel the statues, and you're good to go.
I'm telling you, I think we're getting off easy with once a year, stay off that real estate.
And I'm telling you, dude, you gotta take a stand. Rob, I want
Sometimes
you
you
to
have
take a
to
stand.
let well enough alone.
You're
Oh,
right, and this
okay.
is where I generally go wrong because I'm like, fucking take a stand, and then everything gets all
Wow,
fucked
all right.
up. All right, there you have it. Thank you for joining us for the Kryptonaut Podcast. Stick around after the music. We're going to be doing our Patreon shoutouts.
Oh, yes.
Stick around for that. Thank you, all good Patreons. Or all good patrons. You can find us online on the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks. Our Facebook fan group is fucking awesome.
Oh, it's so fun.
The dope.
Be sure to check that out. And patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. $1 gets you a shout out, and $5 will get you a shout out and some bonus audio. We have some other tiers coming soon, so be sure to check that out. That's going to do it. So we'll be talking to you soon. And goodbye.
Bye.
Second goodbye. Third goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this the first goodbye?
I don't even know.
Shit.
I think that's a first goodbye. I
The
think.
lightning happened. We got scared. We took a break, and then
Yeah, we
Yeah,
lost our
we
fucking
lost
bearings.
our
I know I
shit
choked and
totally.
died
I
and
can't
I came
believe
back.
we're
but-
grown ass fucking men, and
And
thunder happens in the
we're
middle of a
like,
ghost story. We're like, the fuck?
oh god,
That
no.
was crackling loud, though.
It
Yeah,
was
because,
so
you know,
loud.
Chucky's gonna come out of Chris's bedroom.
Well, we were just talking about
Fuck
heavy
Chucky.
fucking
Chucky.
Well, fuck Chucky, but I was thinking like the heavy stone steps of evil statues.
What do we do
And
if they
it
come?
sounded
What do
like
they do
that.
if they show up?
We
Ron.
leave.
I'm smashing the bones.
You how? Where? You're gonna
Where
go
are the
You're gonna
bones?
fly.
You
to
don't
find
even
them.
know where the
Peaks
bones are.
District?
We'll find them.
How do you even know where they are?
Before we say our fourth goodbye, if you are,
Jeez.
we have plenty of listeners across the pond. So if you know about this place, you got any information, fucking hit us up.
Yeah, if you're near Ashbourne
Yeah,
and
let us know,
the area,
totally.
and if you've heard the legend, or
Yeah.
if you know if the cemetery still exists,
Definitely.
if the statues are still there,
Let us know.
if people avoid the region,
Yeah.
if it's all a big bunch of bullshit, let us know.
If it was turned out that Robert, in fact, did kill his wife and tried to blame it on some statues, let us know. And we're talking to you soon.
Bye.
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 I wouldn't rule out the Akashic record.
No, I am.
Yeah, I'm just
Going to.
saying.
The father of all curses.
I am
says no.
facts. That's my shirt.
Yeah, I am facts.
Yeah, I'm facts.
That'll be the
I
back
am-
of the shirt. Father of all
I am-
curses. On
I
the
am
back,
facts.
I am facts.
We'll be talking to you. All right, thank you very much for sticking around for our Patreon shout-outs. Again, that is patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. $1 gets you a thank you. $5 gets you a thank you and bonus audio every month. So let's get started with our shout-outs. I have Rashay Walls, Ghoul82, and Maggie Wethington. Robert.
Let's continue this with Joshua Lehman, Andrew Dudek, and Jimmy Thompson.
Thank you all so very much
I
for
know
your
you guys
patronage.
fucking rule.
Okay, I have, because Rob moved the list on me, I have Paul Belkowski. I'm pretty sure we're saying that right? Right? Belkowski?
I would think Belchowski.
Belchowski?
maybe? I
Paul.
don't. The
We're gonna say
CZ.
Paul B. How about that? Paul B.
The
Thank you
CZ
very
is
much.
tough for us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul B. Michael Cortez and Amy Wolin.
Nice. I've got Unearthly Upstate, a podcast.
That's Mary Bittersweet, actually.
Right on.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah.
does that.
Definitely
Yeah.
check that out.
Check it
It's
out.
awesome. The Stego's Wife, Our Strange Skies,
Ooh.
also a podcast.
Oh, shit, our buddy Rob Christopherson. We
That's
gotta,
fucking
we gotta
badass.
hang out with that dude, for real. We need to
I
travel
know.
up there and
It's not
fucking
like we're all that
pound
far away.
beers and just
Right.
look at bears and shit and talk about aliens.
Wow,
and
yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Look at,
Yeah.
dude, listen.
He's near bears.
You confronted a bear, and I was scared.
And we're gonna go up there with Rob and fucking pound beers and talk about fucking crazy shit and look at bears. I got Mike. It's Miike.
Oh, like Takashi Mike.
Yep. Michael McNally and Christopher Williams. And this is gonna be rounding it off here with Robert.
Word up. We're going to end this with Joe Coggins, Trevor Morey, and Kelly Richards, all of you, thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you all so very
Yepers.
much for contributing to our Patreon. We appreciate it. You have no idea.
Oh my
As stated
God,
in this
so much.
episode, Christopher was Dickens poor.
Yeah. It was Dickensian.
No, it really was.
We provided him with money from the Patreon so that he could live. Okay, I am not so
Not that
Dickens
No,
poor.
high
I was
on
not
the
that
high. He's going to buy systems of video
I'm
games
gonna
and
buy.
indulgences.
I'm gonna actually buy a Mortal Kombat 1-up arcade machine tomorrow because this has been haunting my dreams.
Got my Lambo. Thanks.
Yeah, I got my Lambo. We're all gonna go to my house and play the Mortal Kombat game, right?
That's fair.
Okay. And actually,
my
Rob, your money
best.
helped you. Your car got towed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
the
your
night of
money-
our live show, besides losing a tooth, I
Oh,
fucking
my
lost
God.
a car, and
And the money got you fucking back.
absolutely.
So there you go.
So
All right.
it was thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
It did not have to stay in the tow yard all weekend and
man.
fucking put me in super debt.
So thank you all so very much for contributing to our Patreon. It means the world to us. We are
Really,
so very
though. It's
excited
the
about the
best.
reaction.
We gush about it with each other all the time. We're
Yeah.
so fucking delighted and
It's
flattered.
sort of like a part-time job now.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
which is
just so-
good, which is cool.
The money part's phenomenal, but what's even better is that people want to support us. I just can't. I mean,
Yeah.
doing creative things my whole life, it is so nice to actually see a real time reaction. It's fucking really phenomenal.
This is the
Yeah.
most successful band I've ever been a part of.
There
and
you
we're not
go.
even a band. So
Yeah,
there you
no,
go.
no, it's fucked up. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe people want to listen to us. Like,
Yeah,
we're
no,
fucking weird.
No,
Yeah, we are.
we're not the
Fucking-
smartest. We ain't the fucking sharpest tools in the shed, but you know what?
Hey,
Facts
we
and
make the
science.
folks laugh. So there.
Hey.
From our cursed father to yours, we'll be talking to you soon.
wow.
He's the father of all curses.
He is. I
I
know.
don't even know why you
'Cause
said
you
that.
are.
Why am I, though?
Because
Master
you
of
know this
facts.
shit. Yeah, master of facts, father of curses.
It's the same thing? Okay.
Yeah, you are. All right. Thank you all so very much. Talking to you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye, friends.
Peace.